Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. Somewhere in your city, a man is endangering the lives of your fellow officers. His weapon, a 10-cent piece. Your job, get him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, May 6th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from the junk tank, and it was 8:34 a.m. when we got to the first floor. The interview room. Okay, you want to sit down here?
Yeah. What a head. Either one, you got an aspirin?
No, sorry.
How about a cigarette?
Yeah, here you go. Here, I'll get that for you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Boy, what a head. Feels like I'll fall off and roll around on the floor.
Yeah?
Last time I got this tank was in the South Pacific. Natives brewed up some stuff. Tasted like torpedo juice. Took me 3 days to get over that. Hey, what am I in here for?
You don't remember?
No, not good. A lot of fog. Seems like the last thing I remember is a lot of sirens, fire engines, cops, a lot of noise. After that, there's a big nothing. What'd I do?
Well, he called the police department, told them the officer had been shot trying to stop a holdup. Then he called the fire department, told them the Times building was on fire.
You're kidding.
No, he's not.
Well, I really got it this time, haven't I?
Yeah, see, you got yourself a problem. Why'd you do it?
Gee, I'm trying to think. Seems like the girl I was with made some remark about L.A. being a dull town. I told her she just didn't know the place. I think that's when I started calling. Hey, this in the morning papers?
I don't think so. Why?
I really got trouble if it is. You arrest the girl?
No.
Thanks for small favors.
What?
Either you married?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, he'll know what I mean. I don't think my wife would be crazy about who I was out with last night.
No?
Yeah. Wife thinks I was at a sales meeting. Hope she doesn't find out. Hey, where was I when you picked me up?
Well, according to the arrest report, you were in a phone booth trying to have the National Guard called out.
I gotta join something. This is the worst one I've ever pulled.
Where do you live, Harris?
Apartment over on 9th. Didn't they get that last night?
No. All you tell the arresting officers was your name.
I didn't give anybody any trouble, did I? I mean, I didn't start a fight, nothing like that. Huh?
No. You didn't cause any trouble until they got you down here.
Down here? I didn't hit anybody, did I?
Oh, you tried, but you didn't make it.
You guys are detectives, aren't you?
That's right.
How come they send you fellas down here? I caused that much trouble?
How long you been in town, Harris?
Since I got out of service. I think about 6 years.
You said you were a salesman. Who do you work for?
Connington and Michaels.
How long you been with them?
Since I got out, went to work for them right after I was discharged.
Ever been arrested before?
No. Oh, a couple of traffic tickets, nothing serious. Hey, what's all this about anyway? Where you guys at? You're trying to prove something more than just a drunk rap. What's the pitch?
Oh, there's been some fella around town who's been making calls like you made last night. He's been making a lot of them. They all been phony, but we got to send out equipment.
Well, you figure maybe it was me, huh?
Looks like it might have been. Let's check it out.
No, I guess I made the ones last night. You say I did, but that's it. Hey, you mind if I take another cigarette?
Yeah, here. Help yourself.
Thanks.
Here's a match.
Thanks. Thanks. No, I'm sorry. You guys got the wrong fella.
No.
You can check me. You'll find out you got the wrong man.
Uh-huh.
How come this is so important? You must get a lot of phony calls. How come this is so big?
A lot of reasons make it that way.
Yeah? Don't see it myself. Lots of times I see fire engines go out and false alarms. Doesn't look like it does any harm.
Do you remember how many units were with you last night?
No. Must have been a lot of them.
Well, 15 police cars answered the officer's need help call before they could get a code 4 out on it. There were 5 units of fire department equipment there. I suppose that equipment had been needed someplace else on a real call.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's not just the equipment being out of service. Every time a unit rolls on a call, there's a chance that somebody's going to get hurt. That's what you built last night.
Look, I said I was sorry. There's anything more I can tell you. Any chance of me getting an aspirin around here?
There's a doctor here. All he had to do was ask for it. We'll check on our way out. All right, come on, Harris. You can go back now.
Yeah.
Now, just a minute. What's the name of the friend you were out with last night?
You gonna have to drag her into this?
We've got to check your story.
I hate to have you do that. The story will stand. It isn't that.
What is it, then?
I told you I was married.
Yeah.
This gets in the papers. I'm gonna have a bigger headache.
Is that right?
Yeah, my wife won't understand about last night.
Well, that's too bad, Harris.
She just won't understand, that's all.
How's that?
Well, she's president of the neighborhood temperance club.
9:30 a.m. James Harris was returned to his cell to be held to answer charges of violation of Section 4127A Municipal Code. Frank and I called a woman he'd said he was with the night before. She verified the story that he'd given us. Further investigation of Harris proved that he couldn't possibly have been the suspect we were looking for. We drove back to the office to talk with Captain Didion. For the past 3 weeks, both the police and fire departments had been getting a number of false calls, apparently from the same person. The officers on the complaint board told us that they had gotten so that they almost recognized the voice of the caller. They told us that it sounded like a male voice, and the caller could be middle-aged. The person had no noticeable accent or speech peculiarities. They tried to hold the suspect on the phone when they were certain that it was the same caller, but they'd been unable to do so. Most of the calls the suspect put through were of the emergency type. As a result, we had to send men and equipment to the reported scene, even though we might think that the call was a false one. The calls averaged 6 a week during the period the suspect had been operating. In cooperation with the members of the fire department, Frank and I were assigned to try to apprehend the person making the calls. The operation was simple. The individual would call the board, give an address that we couldn't check out, and then describe what had happened. The address given was usually a corner, so that it was impossible for us to make verifying phone calls. In each instance, as soon as the suspect would report the disturbance, he would hang up. The operation was simple and untraceable. 11:17 a.m. We finished talking with Captain Didion and left his office. All right, Skipper. Talk to you later. Boy, he's in a great mood this morning, you know. Do you blame him? The way this thing's going, we're no nearer to breaking it.
Yeah. George figures the guy who's doing this is going to be around to watch all the excitement. That's got to be the reason he's making the call, so he can get his kick.
Well,
Well, it figures he's got to be in the crowd someplace.
so,
Well, let's try to get a hold of the newspaper pictures. Try to check them. Find one person who's at the scene. Might work.
well, that's someplace to start, isn't it? It's a hot shot. I'll get it. Gonna have to wait. Bank robbery in progress. 11:26 a.m. We took the call car and started for the bank. Before we arrived, Control 1 put out a code 4 on the call. No further assistance needed. With another false alarm. We completed our investigation, and on the way back to the office, we answered an ambulance follow-up call 2 blocks from the bank. A squad car had been on the way to answer the robbery call at the bank. It had been traveling north on Spring Street. An ambulance had been making an emergency trip to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. It had been traveling west on 7th Street. Both had been rolling code 3. Neither one of them heard the siren of the other unit. Neither of them knew of the other's presence. Both had hit the intersection at the same time. The police car, in an attempt to avoid the ambulance, had swerved. It had caromed off the side of the larger vehicle and then plowed through traffic and hit a traffic signal pole head-on. The car had hit the pole at the seam of the left front fender and the body. The police unit had been split wide open. The officer on the passenger side of the car had been thrown against the windshield. The other one had been thrown into the steering wheel and then out of the car onto the curb 10 feet from the wrecked unit. The ambulance, after being hit, had spun across the intersection on 2 wheels, hit the curbing, and tipped over. Only the fact that it had hit a streetlight pole had stopped it from going on through the pedestrian traffic on the sidewalk. It had come to rest laying on its side at the southeast corner of the intersection. The driver of the ambulance had been thrown clear of the truck. The patient in the rear and the attendant with him had been thrown about in the interior of the unit, and when we got there, they were lying in a mass of wreckage. The intersection was covered with gasoline and oil. A traffic officer was attempting to do what he could for the survivors.
Let us through here. Police officer. Please
All right,
through.
sir, if you'll just step back there. I'm sorry. Keep back, please.
Friday and Smith, Central Robbery.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jake's in traffic.
They alive?
I don't know. Both unconscious. Pretty bad. I didn't want to move them.
How about an ambulance?
I put the call in right away.
You calling about this oil on the street here?
No, I didn't yet.
Well, you better get a call, don't you think? Have them warn all approaching units. Street slippery. Have them approach with caution, huh?
Right.
Thank you.
Sure is a mess, isn't it?
Doesn't look like they got much of a chance, does it?
How about that ambulance?
A couple of officers there now. Guess they're looking after him. Let's check the driver.
How about it, Joe?
Well, that ambulance better get here quick.
Yeah?
She isn't going to last long. The ambulance arrived, and the injured men were removed to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. The police garage sent out a wrecker, and the damaged vehicles were removed. The intersection was cleaned of the gasoline and oil, and inside of an hour and a half, the coroner was handling traffic as usual. The only indication of the wreck left on the scene was a broken hubcap lying in a puddle of dirty water in the gutter. 2 police officers had been seriously injured in the accident. Frank and I checked the immediate neighborhood for witnesses. We found a newspaper vendor who had a stand a block from the scene. He identified himself as George Kennedy. He told us what he knew of the wreck.
I saw the whole thing.
Yes, sir. If you tell us what you saw, please.
Well, my stand is just up the street there. See, you can see it on the corner.
Uh-huh.
Well, I was checking stock. A lot of new magazines came in this morning. I was going through them. You know, marking them up, going through them.
Yes, sir.
I was just standing there fixing up the new magazines when all of a sudden I heard these sirens. Sound like it comes from all directions.
I see.
Then I saw that their ambulance coming down 7th Street. I stopped what I was doing to see where the ambulance was going, then I heard the crash. Terrible.
Did you see the accident, Kennedy?
Well, not at first, no. I saw it right after I heard the brakes. I didn't really see it at first, you know, just after I heard the brakes. And then I looked up and saw what was happening, and I started to run down there.
Mm-hmm.
Saw the cars all smashed up. Right after that, I saw you guys come up, and then the other ambulance. And that's about all. Nothing more, I tell you, I guess. Anything I can do to help? Anything at all?
No, sir.
How about the officers in the car? Are they all right? I heard one of them was dead. Any truth in that?
No, sir. Both of them are in pretty bad shape.
Awful thing to happen. Biggest crash I ever saw. Just awful.
Well, thanks, Kennedy, for your help.
No, it wasn't anything. Glad to do what I could. Anything else I can do, if you guys just let me know.
All right, Kennedy. Thanks very much.
No, not at all. Glad to do it. Sure, terrible thing. No need for it. Such a waste.
Yes, sir.
If they die, it'll almost seem like they're murdered, won't it?
Yes, sir. From here, it looks that way. Frank and I drove back to the office. We checked with the doctor at the P&F ward at Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. The doctor told us that the injured officers were still in critical condition and as yet had not regained consciousness. We checked with the complaint board, and the officer who'd answered the call about the supposed bank robbery told us that he thought that the caller was the same suspect we were looking for. With Captain Didion and Captain Hagenbaugh in communications, we worked out a plan to attempt to apprehend the caller. The next time he put in a call, the officer answering the complaint would attempt to keep him on the line with questions regarding the complaint until we could get to the vicinity and start a search for him. We would be notified by a hotshot call immediately. 2 days passed without the caller making a move. On Saturday, May 8th, we got a call from Georgia Street Receiving Hospital.
Yeah, Doc. Uh-huh. Well, how about the families? They've been told yet? Uh-huh. Well, I imagine they're pretty happy about it, huh? Yeah, well, thanks for letting us know. Right, Doc. Bye.
Doc Hall?
Yeah, both officers are going to be okay. They're doing what they can for him.
Hot shot. Now, maybe we can do something for him. Suspect's on the phone now. The caller had told the officer on the complaint board that he wanted to report an attempted robbery at the corner of 6th and Spring Street. He said there was a shooting as the operator of the store involved had tried to stop the holdup man. The man on the phone had requested police assistance and the dispatching of an ambulance to the scene. The officer so far had managed to keep the caller on the phone while he let us know of the call. Another officer had called the store and verified that there was no holdup as reported. Frank and I left the office and proceeded to the area code 2. We felt that if the suspect heard the siren of a unit, it might alarm him and we'd lose him. We arrived at the corner 4 minutes after we'd gotten the hot shot. Frank took one side of the street and I took the other. We worked our way down 6th Street, spotting all of the stores with public telephones. It took us a little over 3 minutes to cover the street for 1 block east. We met back at the corner and started down Spring Street. As time went on, our chances of the suspect staying on the phone dwindled. 12 minutes had passed since the suspect had placed the call. I was covering the east side of Spring Street, and I was almost to the corner of 7th when I walked into a store to check the phone booth just inside the door. The voice was familiar. It was George Kennedy, the proprietor of the corner newsstand.
Sure, I can see it. No, my name don't matter. All the town needs you get an ambulance here right away. You don't, this poor man's going to bleed you dead. Well, certainly, he's right here, right in the same room.
All right, come on out of there.
Hey, what's this all about?
Come on out of that phone booth.
What right you got to tell me what to do?
No, don't hang up that phone, Kennedy.
You got no business breaking into my phone call.
All right, you come out of that booth, will you, right now? Stand right there. Hello. Yeah. No, this is Friday. Yeah, we got him. Uh-huh. Yeah, well, as soon as I pick up Smith, we'll be right in. Hold up, Kennedy. Stop that man. Hey, stop him. Hey, Mr.
You all right, mister?
Yeah, did you see where that old man went?
No. Sorry, mister. He ran in the crowd over there. I wasn't watching him. I thought sure you were going to get hit by that car.
Hey, Joe, what are you doing out in the middle of the street?
Well, I had him. George Kennedy, the guy with the newsstand.
You mean the guy we talked to the other day?
That's right.
Well, at least we know who we're after. That's a help.
Yeah, maybe. We got to get him fast now.
Yeah?
He knows we're after him. We went back to our unit and got out a broadcast on George Kennedy. After that, we checked the immediate neighborhood, but we were unable to find the suspect. We checked at his newsstand, but the people in the surrounding stores were unable to give us the exact address where he lived. We arranged for a stakeout on the newsstand, then we went back to the city hall and called the city clerk. We asked him to check the records for the license issued to Kennedy. The clerk's office told us they would check their files immediately and call us back. We ran the name George Kennedy through R&I, but he had no previous criminal record. We checked with Captain Didion while we waited for the call back from the city clerk's office. I got it. Robbery Friday. Yeah? Who? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hello. That's all we need.
What is it?
That was Kennedy. Says he knows we want him, and he said we better forget all about it, that we'll never get him.
Yeah?
Says we might as well give up. A local broadcast was gotten out on Kennedy. The city clerk called back and gave us the home address listed on his application for a vendor's license. We checked out the address, a rooming house on 9th Street, and the landlady told us that Kennedy was not at home, that she hadn't seen him all day. She was able to give us the address of his sister, and after Frank and I arranged for a stakeout on the rooming house, we drove over to see the sister. She lived in a small frame house in the Hollywood area.
I suppose I knew that it had to happen. I guess there wasn't any way to avoid it.
Ma'am?
About George. He's sick. I guess you know that.
Yes, ma'am. Has he ever spent any time in an institution of any sort, would you know?
No. There were times when I thought about it. We used to talk, try to figure out what was the best thing. Somehow we just couldn't bring ourselves to do it, to commit him.
You say we, ma'am. Who do you mean?
Oh, me and Harold. Harold's my brother. He's the baby of the family. And what the doctor said, I guess, in a way, Harold's the cause of the whole thing. Way back, I mean.
Ma'am?
Well, I can't deny it. We talked to doctors about George, you know, psychologists.
Yes, ma'am.
He said that George had a compulsion complex. Came from when he was a little boy. That he resented the attention that the folks showed Harold. It's unfortunate. Harold was sickly when he was little. He needed more attention. Guess George didn't understand.
Mm-hmm. You any idea where he might be now, ma'am?
No? You tried the place over on 9th? That's where he lives.
Yes, Miss Carol. We checked the place. The landlady said she hadn't seen your brother all day.
Oh. Well, if he's not there, I don't know where he could be. No? I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
Could you tell us if your brother had any close friends in the city, anyone he might go to?
None at all. I'm sorry I can't be of more help.
Well, do you have a recent picture of your brother, ma'am?
Well, yes, I think I can find one for you. Why do you want it?
We needed to find him, Miss Carol.
Oh. Well, I have one that was taken this year at George's birthday party. I took it with one of those cameras that develop right away, you know.
Yes, ma'am. What if you'd be kind enough to get it for us, please?
Surely, I think it's in the desk. I'll get it for you.
Thank you.
Oh, excuse me a minute.
Surely.
Hello? Oh, yes. What? They're here now. I don't know what to think. Yes. Yes, I know, but it's too late for that now. The important thing is to find him before he does something more. Yeah. Well, I'll call you back. I don't want to keep the officers waiting. All right, bye. That was Harold. He heard about George.
Mm-hmm. It's possible your brother might go over to his place.
No, that's the last place he'd go.
What if you could give us his address, please?
Well, sure, I can give it to you. I know that George wouldn't go there, though.
Why are you so sure, ma'am?
I told you about the birthday party. Well, George and Harold were there, just a family sort of thing. At least it started out that way. The way it finished was awful. George and Harold got into a big fight. They were always arguing.
What if you get that picture for us now, Miss Carol?
Oh, yes, right away. It's here someplace. Harold just said that we should have put George in an institution a long time ago. Should have had him helped. I guess he's right. I guess it's all my fault.
Why do you say that, ma'am?
Well, it was me that didn't want George committed. I was the one who fought against it. I was so sure that everything would work out all right. Oh, here it is.
Yes, ma'am.
That's George. He's got a paper hat on. It's come out of one of those little snapper things. George liked things like that, kid things. I guess he never grew up.
Yes, ma'am.
Always lived in a dream world. Made it up himself. Thought that everybody was persecuting him, that people were after him. It's so silly it wasn't true.
I'm afraid it is, ma'am.
What?
We're after him. We got the address of George Kennedy's brother, and Frank and I drove over to talk to him. He told us that he didn't have the slightest idea where his brother might be. We called the office and arranged for a stakeout on the homes of the sister and the brother in the event that Kennedy might try to contact them. 6:30 p.m. We met with Captain Didion and a psychiatrist from Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. The psychiatrist said that after hearing our report on Kennedy's actions, that he might have a strong compulsion complex. And as a result of events that morning, he could have a violent resentment of any type of authority. 2 days passed. We got more leads and we ran them down. They went no place. Tuesday, May 11th, 12:51 a.m. I get it. Robbery Friday. Yes, ma'am. Well, when was that? Yeah. All right, Miss Carroll, we'll take care of it. Yes, ma'am. By the way, thank you. Kennedy's sister says he just called her. Yeah? Said he was over by Westlake Park, that he was going to commit suicide. A.m. We called the complaint board and told them what had happened. They contacted all available units and asked them to proceed to Westlake Park, Code 2. Frank and I drove to the area. By the time we got there, several units had responded to the call. As yet, none of them had seen Kennedy. From the bridge on Wilshire, 2 men had been watching the lake, and up to the time we got there, they'd seen no activity on the surface of the water. 1:30 a.m. Frank and I started to go through the park. A heavy fog had risen from the lake, and visibility was dropping fast.
You see anything?
No. Now, let's head down toward the lake, huh?
Yeah.
This way.
It's getting cold. I should have worn a heavier coat.
Hold it a minute. See him?
Yeah. Just sitting there. Doesn't see us.
All right. You take him from that side. I'll go this way. Watch it, huh?
Right.
Who's there? Who is it? I know you're there. Who is it? I got a gun. Now, you come any closer and I'm going to shoot. I can see you, you know. I can see you. You get away from here. You get away right now or I'm going to shoot. All right, I warned you.
Put that gun down, Kennedy.
Yeah, I knew you were there. I knew it. You thought you could sneak up on me and get me and I wouldn't know it, huh? That's what you thought, ain't it? Huh? Ain't it?
Nobody's trying to sneak up on you, Kennedy. Nobody's trying to hurt you.
Yeah, that's what you say, but I know different. I know. Who are you? Come on, I know anyway, so you might as well tell me. Who are you?
You know who I am, George. Joe Friday. I'm your friend. Now, you know that, don't you?
Ain't anybody's my friend. Ain't anybody. Nobody I can trust. Why should I trust you? Come on, tell me. Why should I trust you? You're a cop, ain't you? Ain't you?
You know that, George. We met before. You know I'm your friend, too, don't you?
No, you ain't. You ain't my friend. You want to take me away and lock me up.
It's not true, George. I just want to talk to you. Just sit and talk, that's all.
You stay away from me. I'm not going to tell you again. I don't want you near me.
Now, take it easy, George.
No, you ain't going to get me. I'm going to get away from you. Away from all of you.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah. I know all about you. I know you ain't going to get me. Hey, I can't swim. Somebody help me. Help.
All right, Kennedy, take it easy. All right, come on now. You're all right. You're all right. Come on. Come on, get up here. Now, you're all right.
Ain't anybody'd understand. Ain't anybody.
You okay, Joe?
Yeah.
I'll take him. He's clean.
Couldn't even get a gun. Couldn't even get a gun. Never could do anything right. Just nothing ever went right. Wasn't anybody that understood. Nobody that knew what I wanted. Nobody cared about me. Nobody cared.
You're wrong about that.
Huh?
We do.
The story you've just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On September 21st, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Due to the mental condition of the suspect, the case was then referred to the psychopathic detail at Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. After due process in Superior Court, the suspect was committed to a mental institution for treatment.
Ladies and gentlemen, we wish to thank the editors and readers of TV Radio Mirror magazine for their awards to Dragnet. Their 6th annual award issue, now on sale at your newsstand.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Monty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Herb Ellis, Ralph Moody. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a burglary detail. A string of safe burglaries breaks out in your city. In the past 2 months, 35 safes have been broken into. You know there's more than one man in the operation. You've got no lead to the thieves' identity. Your job? Get him.
The documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, August 18th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. It was 1:34 p.m. when we got to the second floor of the Central Jail building, the crime lab.
Couldn't sleep last night. Faye and I had another beef.
Oh, what about this time?
Cards, you know, can ask them.
Yeah?
Folks next door came over after dinner and we got to playing. They play real good.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't long before we were really getting slots.
What?
You know, slots. Beaten.
Oh.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Last hand, they go down right away, Joe. Seemed like everything I threw them, they could use. Picked up everything. I couldn't do anything right. Just kept building up mills, they did. Big thing for us was to get out as quick as we could. You know, get the hand over with.
Yeah.
Faye wasn't doing any good. Finally, I still don't know how they let it happen. I got enough points to go down, so I asked Faye if it's okay. You have to do that, you know, ask your partner's permission to get the hand over.
Yeah.
You know that?
Well, I played it a couple of times. Yeah, with you. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Well, you might not believe it, but you know what she said? No. Just sat there and said she didn't think it was time.
Is that right?
Yeah. I know it's kind of picky, but there they were, the other kids just piling up points, slocking us all over the place.
Slocking.
Yeah, hand went around a couple of more times. Each time I asked Faye if she wants to get out. Each time, you know what she said?
No.
That's it. No.
Well, what finally happened?
Oh, the other folks ran out of cards. Wasn't any more play, so they got out. 3,600 points. And I found out why Faye didn't want to quit.
Why?
Had a deuce.
What?
A deuce, a two, you know?
Yeah.
Well, said she didn't want to get caught with it.
Yeah, well, we better get started, huh?
Wait a minute, that's not the worst of it, let me tell you.
All right.
All night we're playing, see, all night. I'm saving cards, you know, I like tens. Like to get tens. I save tens.
Yeah, I guess everybody saves 10.
Well, I save more than other guys. They save a lot of stuff. So we get all through, and you know what? We find out there are only 7 tens in the deck. One of them's missing. All night, there's 7 tens.
Well, that's dreadful.
Well, I tell you.
You were schlocked.
Schlocked.
Didn't sleep a wink.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Back here. Girls out to lunch. Come on back. Hi, how's it going, Ray?
Moving around, about all.
Hot out, huh?
Yeah, paper says it's going to go over 90 today.
Too hot for me.
Yeah. Well, how you coming on the job this morning?
Finishing up. Looks like the rest of them.
Yeah.
Got some pictures here. Take a look. Here's pictures of the marks they left on the door this morning.
Mm-hmm.
See those two long scratches on the wood?
Yeah, here?
Yeah, over here. Here's a picture from the Argosy Manufacturing Company's door. See? Yeah. Same two marks. Pretty safe bet to figure that both doors are open to the same pry bar.
Yeah, same type of entrance made this time, huh?
Yeah, just the one mark on the door. They know what they're doing. Insert the bar, hit it once, and the door opens.
Mm-hmm. How about the safe? What do you got on that? Right
here. This is the picture we got of the room, same as the others. Standard rip job, nothing different there.
How about marks?
No help there. Here's the pictures. Looks like the same tool that was used on the other job.
Did you find anything else, Ray?
No. At least nothing that helps. Leighton Prince picked up a couple from the safe. Belongs to the manager of the place. Nothing else that gives us anything.
Well, I'd say that was the same bunch.
Yeah, either that or they're lending their tools to the boys in the neighborhood.
Yeah, well, that isn't likely. Cigarette, Ray?
Yeah, thanks.
Right? There's the light. Ray?
Thanks. We were leaning on you guys for this one, huh?
Yeah, Skipper's taking a lot of heat.
What's this make for him? 34, 35?
35, 6 months.
Get any nearer to him?
No, not much.
Got anything to tell how many men there are?
It'd be hard to say for sure. The way they work figures about 3 or 4, maybe. Yeah, that's the way it looks. Take that number to pull off the operation as smooth as they're doing it, though, Ray.
You got anything at all to work on?
Well, we checked around town. There aren't any rumbles. One of the tightest gangs that we've seen in a long time. Doesn't seem like anybody outside knows what's going on. We checked the places around. Nobody's spending a lot of money they can't account for.
How much did it take so far?
Well, what they got this morning, let's see, it comes to a little under $36,000, doesn't it, Frank? Yeah. What about you, Ray? You turn up anything we can use?
Nothing that points any place. We know how they got in, how they hit the safe. That isn't going to help much. Same MO as the others. You haven't got any idea who they are, huh?
No, nothing.
Any idea who they are, we could maybe use the anthracene on their tools.
That's straight. We got to find the tools before we use that. We got no idea where they plant them.
Mm-hmm. Seems that one of your informants would be able to come up with something on it.
Yeah, you'd think so. We've checked them all, Ray. No leads to the gang. Doesn't seem there's anybody in town that knows who they are.
Anybody new operating around?
No, we checked that out, too. Said the staff's office makes so many runs that they're wearing out the cards. MO isn't new. It's been used before, but all the possibles have been checked out. Stuff from Brereton up at CII, the other lead from the APDs, they've all been cleared. Now, we got just what we started with, the gang working when they want to, where they want to, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, I wish there was more I could do to help out.
Yeah.
I got to get back to work. Got some precipitant test homicide wants this afternoon.
Yeah, well, we'll see you later, Ray.
Right. You want this stuff booked?
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
Okay. Excuse me a minute.
Good.
Crime lab, Tinker. Yeah? Yeah, they're both here. Which one? Yeah, hold on. Joe?
Yeah.
You, office.
Thanks. Friday. Oh, yeah, Chandler. Uh-huh. Wendy call. Yeah, well, what's that number? 44? Right. Yeah, I'll call him right away. Thanks. Bye. Chandler, huh? Yeah, Don Jackson called. Said he wanted to get in touch with us. Jackson? Doesn't ring any bells. The guy we pinched last month. Remember? Looked like the guy who was in on the service station job. Oh, yeah, I remember. Guy with the waxed mustache. Huh? Mm-hmm. Hello, Don Jackson? Or could I speak to him, please? Don, Joe Friday. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's 1:47 now. Take us about 10 minutes. How about 2? All right, fine. Yeah, we know where it is. Right. We'll see you there. All right, bye. What's he want? He wants to see it. Another rip job. Yeah? Says he's got a rumble on him. Don Jackson had been a suspect in a series of service station burglaries we'd investigated. He'd been picked up and interrogated, but investigation showed that he couldn't have been involved in the theft. Since he'd been released, we'd heard nothing from him, and as far as we knew, he'd gone back to his job in a downtown clothing store. From what he told me on the phone, he had some information about the current series of safe burglaries. 1:48 p.m. Frank and I left the crime lab and drove over to the store where Jackson worked. He managed to get relieved, and he took us to a small coffee shop near the store. We sat down and ordered some coffee, and Jackson told us what he knew about the burglaries.
Now, I could be wrong about this. I don't think so. But outside it could be.
Uh-huh. Donnie, you got any one reason for figuring that the Scott fellow's tied in with the job?
Well, nothing I can put my finger on, you know. Just that the guy's never done a full day's work in his life. Don't think he knows what a callus is. Yet he's always loaded, always got a roll. It's real, too. Not like them you see sometimes with a big bill on the outside and ones in the middle. Now, this guy's loaded, you know.
Yeah. Where's the meter?
Well, I was sitting in a bar down the street one night, having a belt before dinner. We got to talking, ended up eating together that night.
You remember when this was, Don, when you first met him?
Well, let me see. Yeah, it was the day I got the trench coat from England. Now, let me see. That'll make it about August 4th. Yeah, it was the night I got the coat. Come to think of it, that's what got us to talking, the coat.
I don't understand.
Well, you see, I got this here coat I had to send over from England. It's a real beauty. All kinds of linings, wind straps in the sleeves. It's great, you know.
Uh-huh.
Well, I had to send this coat to the store. We got down the 4th. I had it with me that night. And Scotty noticed it. We got to talking about clothes and went to dinner. He asked me how much the coat cost. I told him run about 40, maybe $50. He asked me if I could get one for him, and I told him sure. It'd take a couple weeks.
Uh-huh.
Well, he asked me to send a letter to my friend, Airmail Special, and asked him to send the coat over by express. I told him I would, and then he asked me if I wanted to pay me then.
Yeah.
I told him no, wait till I knew just how much the coat was going to run. You know, duty and postage and all that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, he said that'd be okay with him. I saw him a couple of times after that, and every time he'd ask about the coat, I told him that was in the works, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, finally got the coat. It was beautiful. Never saw the guy again. I'm out $46. Crummy Scotty, leave me with that coat. My own money, too. $46. I don't make enough to lose that kind of money, you know.
Well, that's too bad, Jackson. But why do you figure this Scott had anything to do with the burglary?
Well, now, I just told you. For one thing, the money. Always had a lot, but I never had a job. No place to get the money. Not only that, but one night, well, I saw him. We were going out to dinner, and he said he couldn't quite make it then. That something had come up. That he had to take a rain check, you know.
Uh-huh.
Well, I asked him what had come up, what was so important. He said he had to see a guy over in East L.A., some sort of a business deal.
You say what this deal was about?
No, he wouldn't say. The next day he shows up loaded. Got to roll on him, choke a horse. Now, I asked him where'd he get it. I kid him about being one of the guys who ripped the safe in the Argosy plant.
What'd he say to that?
Nothing, just got real serious, you know. Asked me why I asked him that. What made me think he was in on the job? I kept telling him I didn't know anything about it. I was just kidding. He finally bought it and said it was okay, but he said I shouldn't go around saying things like that.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I got the coat, looked Scotty up to give it to him, wouldn't pay for it. They lost the coat thing up or something, I don't know, set the wrong size, and I'm stuck with it. He wouldn't have anything to do with it. I figured since I ordered it for him, it ain't my fault that it's big. He should pay for it, you know, $46. Now, any way you look at it, I laid out the dough. I figured he should make good on it. He wouldn't do it. And I got sore, and I figured that maybe you'd like to know how he acted about the Argosy job. Lousy bum. $46 that coat cost.
You know where this Scott lives?
No, I haven't got the slightest idea. But I got his phone number, though. I'll give you that.
Can you give us a description on him?
Sure, he's a sneaky little guy. No wonder the coat won't fit. Real bitty guy, you know.
Yeah, now you say his full name is Leonard Scott, is that right?
Yeah, crummy bum. I hope you get him.
Well, we'll talk to him, Don.
He knows something about it. I'll bet money on it he knows. Say, I don't like to bring this up, but you guys could do me a big favor, you know.
What's that?
No, I don't suppose you could.
What is it, Don?
You know anybody could use a size 52 trench coat?
We continued to talk to Don Jackson. We got the description of Leonard Scott and his phone number. 3:15 p.m., we drove back to the city hall and checked the names through R&I. We came up with several possibles. The mug shots were pulled on them, and they were shown to Jackson. He was able to identify one of them as the man he told us about. The suspect had a record for burglary and had served 2 terms in the state penitentiary at San Quentin. He'd served his full term and was not on parole. We checked the last address on his convict registration card, and we found that he lived in a rooming house on West 11th Street. The phone number he'd given Jackson was the same as the one on the registration card. We drove over to talk to him. We found that he wasn't in his room, and from the landlady, we learned that he was expected back around 7 that evening. We checked his room in company with the landlady, and then we called the office and told them where we were in the event they had to contact us. We waited in the living room of the house for the suspect to return. 7:15 p.m. Yeah. He matches the description, doesn't he? Come on. Just a minute. You Leonard Scott?
Yeah. Who are you?
Police officers like to talk to you.
What's this all about?
It'd be better if we went up to your room.
Oh. All right, come on up. Can't you give me some idea what this is all about?
We'll talk to you about it. Go ahead. Open the door. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, what's the pitch?
You've been through it before. You're next time.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. Ladies and gentlemen, from the NBC newsroom in New York,
Here are the latest names of the men to be sent back to Freedom Village in Munsan. We have 4 more names for you at this time of our sick and wounded who have been sent back by the Reds to the Allied side in Munsan. Corporal Vernon C. Warren of St. Louis, Missouri. Vernon C. Warren of St. Louis, Missouri. Roy M. Jones of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Jones gave no rank. Roy M. Jones of Minneapolis, Minnesota. PFC David Ludlum, Ludlum, of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And PFC Ray Medina of New York City. PFC Ray Medina of New York City. All of these men are reported to be in fine shape. Stay tuned to your NBC station for the later news.
Oh, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, we got a witness who tells us he showed up with a pocket full of money the next day.
He's fallen twice before for burglary.
You can't account for your time before or after the date, but you happen to have an alibi for the night of the heist.
You got no steady job, but you got plenty of money. Now, come off it, Scott. We got you nailed for the jobs, and you know it. You got a choice of giving us a hand on this thing. It'll be marked down in your favor, or you can be a big man and stand for this thing alone. It's up to you. We'll play it any way you want.
You figure you can make me for the job?
Looks like it won't be too tough.
You're in the middle, Scott. Why don't you cop out?
What do I get for turning pink?
I told you it'd be marked down that way.
How about it, Scott?
All right, I guess I gotta go with you. I wasn't in on the jobs. I didn't really have anything to do with the casing. It helped a little bit. Not much, just a little.
What'd you figure in it?
Once I worked as a lookout for him.
Who are they?
I can give you the name. Like to see you get them, lousy bunch. Hope you get them good. Make every one of them lousy bums the way they treated me.
What do you mean by that?
Big deal. Had the cops running around in circles. Big deal. Nothing. Work along with them. Everything will be fine. Big deal.
How many of them are there?
4. 4 real bums. They said they were going to take care of me. They told me I'd get my share of the money. Lousy liars. 1 job I was with them. After that, they told me I hadn't done enough to earn my way, that I wasn't any help to anybody.
Well, next time you see them, you can tell them.
Yeah?
They were wrong. We got the names of the 4 men who were involved in the burglaries. We took Leonard Scott down to the city hall and pulled the packages on the 4 suspects. He gave us a positive identification on them. We checked with Captain Wisdom, and it was decided to wait until we could catch the suspects in the actual attempt to commit a burglary. We checked out the address of the 4 suspects and got as much information as we could on them without letting them know that they were under surveillance. Additional teams of men were assigned to the stakeout. Each of them was watched 24 hours a day, and each of the teams of detectives were in constant contact with the burglary division. 2 days passed. None of the suspects made any attempt to make contact with the others. We met with the district attorney, and it was decided that in the interest of bringing the gang to justice, the first suspect, Leonard Scott, should be released from custody to act as an informant for us. He would be kept under constant surveillance. Frank and I were assigned to follow him. In the next 3 days, he went about his business as usual. Each evening, he'd leave his rooming house and walk through the bars in the downtown area. He told us that contact and information regarding the burglaries was made by the leader of the gang, one of the suspects named Howard Ramsey. On Monday, August 24th, we saw Ramsey approach Leonard Scott. They talked briefly in the rear of a bar on 6th Street, and then Ramsey left. We waited for about 15 minutes, and then we saw Scott leave the bar. We followed him down the street to an all-night coffee stand. We sat down next to him at the counter, and at the first opportunity, he told us what Ramsey had said.
You guys haven't got long to wait.
What'd he say?
Deal's set. It's going to be a machine shop out in West L.A. Rumble is the safe has over 25 grand in it. Biggest job they've tackled.
You say how it's going to work?
Yeah, I'll fill you in on it. Thought you might want to get in touch with your office, so.
How's that?
You're going to work tonight.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
.32 p.m. We got the rest of the story from Leonard Scott. The plan, as he outlined it for us, was that the 4 other suspects would not meet until they were at the plant that was to be burglarized. We got in touch with the men who were following the suspects and told them what had happened. 10:07 p.m. We met with Captain Wisdom and put the operating plan into effect. It had been arranged that all of the men following the suspects would be in 3-way radio cars so that constant communication could be kept between the units of the operation. Additional officers were planted on the roofs of the buildings surrounding the plant to be burglarized. These men would be equipped with walkie-talkies so they could keep in constant touch with each other and with us in a 3-way radio car. In this way, we could direct operations, and we'd have a complete picture of what was happening in the immediate vicinity. A blockade system was set up to be put into operation once the suspects had entered the trap so that escape would be impossible. 11:45 p.m. The plan was completed, and the men involved were in their assigned positions. We followed Leonard Scott to his rooming house, and he changed to his working clothes. He came out of his house, and we followed him out the freeway to Hollywood. From there, he drove out Sunset Boulevard to Whittier Drive in Beverly Hills, and then he went out Wilshire Boulevard toward West L.A. As we drove, we could hear the other units reporting the position of the men that they were following. All of the suspects left their homes at approximately the same time, and it looked as if they would get to the plant within a couple of minutes of the scheduled time. Scott had told us that they would not meet at the plant, but they'd rendezvous at a drive-in a couple of blocks from the plant. There, they would be given their instructions. 2:16 a.m., the 5 cars pulled into the drive-in, and after a brief conversation, they all left and drove toward the plant. 2:23 a.m., all the police units got into their positions as arranged. Frank and I took up our position, and we listened to the reports coming in over the radio.
Unit 1KY80, Unit 1KY80, Rubles, come in.
Unit 1KY80 to Rubles, go ahead.
I'm on the roof of the building directly across the street from the factory, Joe. I can see the suspects now.
How many of them are there?
I can see 3. I think there's a couple more at the corner as lookouts. Hey, Donovan's down the block. Maybe he can see the others.
Unit 1KY80 to Donovan. Come in, please. Over.
This is Donovan. Yeah, there's one of them on the corner down here. He drove up and got out to take a look at the motor of his car. He's over there working on it now.
This Rubles, I can see another one at the other corner. He's changing a tire. Got the jack under the car, but he's not trying to get the wheel off. The others are at the factory door now. Do you see anything where you are, Joe?
Not much. Shadows across the street. I can't see the doorway. What are they doing now?
They're inside now. They forced the lock on the door and got inside. Door's closed. Now, I can't see him anymore, Joe.
All units, this is Friday in Unit 1KY80. All units move in to apprehend suspects. Repeat, move in to apprehend suspects. Units 2R4, 5, 6, and 7, and Unit 2R20 move to blockade positions. All right, let's go.
Right.
They got the place covered in back, okay?
Yeah, all covered.
All right. This ought to do it.
Right.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, I got the lookout. Yeah, I see. Well, let's take it easy, huh? See him? No. The light back there looks like the office. Wait a minute. Yeah. All of them must be back there. Sounds like they're putting the bar into the back of the safe, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rubles?
Let's go.
They're in the office now. You want to move in from that side?
Right.
All right, let's go.
All right. Come on, get on it. We haven't got all night. That safe still like a sardine can. There's no reason to take so long. We're doing the best we can. We got the 10 or 5 that's giving us trouble. Yeah, let me take a look.
All right, hold it right where you are.
Let's get out of here.
Watch him, Joe. I'll get him. Right. Come on, Ramsey. You have a place to go. The building's surrounded.
Back here, Joe. Get out of here, Cox. You're never going to take us. Hold it up. Don't shoot anymore. I give up. I give up. Come on, Cox. Come on and get it. He ain't talking for me. I've had it. I don't want any more shooting. I give up.
All right, throw your guns out here.
It's fine.
All right. Come on out there. Get over there. Get your hands back of your head. Stand right there and don't move.
I gave up, didn't I? I didn't want any more of it.
Come on, Ramsey. Your partner was smart. Why don't you play it that way, too?
You come and get me, Cox. All right. You win. I'm out of shells. Don't shoot.
Throw that gun out here. All right, now come on out here. Keep your hands back of your head. Come on, move. That's good right there. All right, all right. Come on, Ramsey. Over there next to your partner. Now stand still, both of you. Put your hands against the wall. Stand still. Don't move. All right, they're clean, Joe. All right. There were 3 of them. Where's the other one? I made a break for the front door. They got him out there.
Lousy luck all the way around. How'd you know? Who told you?
That doesn't make any difference.
Well, somebody had to tell you. You'd never find out if somebody had told you.
Yeah, that's right. Come on, let's go now.
Well, who told you? Who turned Frank? Somebody had to tell you, didn't
Well,
they?
don't you worry about it, mister.
What do you mean?
You're going to have a lot of time to figure it out. Now, let's go.
The story you've just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On January 14th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Howard Allen Allen Ramsey, Jack Irwin MacArthur, and the other two suspects were tried and convicted of 15 counts of burglary in the first degree. They received sentences as prescribed by law. Burglary in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Because of his cooperation, Leonard James Scott was given a lighter sentence, and at the conclusion of his prison term was placed on probation for a period of 2 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, we wish to thank the editors of TV Guide for the cover picture and story on Dragnet. You can get TV Guide at your favorite newsstand.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from...
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. You get a call from the San Diego Police Department that 3 hold-up men are thought to be heading for your city. You know they're armed. You know they're dangerous. Your job, get them.
Years ahead of them all.
Chesterfield is years ahead of them all.
The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story.
Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands.
Yes, Chesterfield is first with premium quality in both regular and king size.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, October 5th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 4:58 p.m. when I got to room 27A. Robbery. Hi, Murph. Seen Frank?
Yeah, he was here a couple of minutes ago. I think he went down the hall, said he'd be right back.
Thanks. How the kids?
Well, we're in the cycle again.
What do you mean?
The cold cycle.
Oh, yeah.
Oldest boy brings one home with him, gives it to his sister. Then it goes to the baby, then to the wife, and then to me. By the time I got it, the oldest boy's ready to catch it again from me. Doesn't seem to be any end to it.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Reading the other day where if you take care of a cold, take a lot of pills, stay in bed, you can shake it in a week.
All right.
Don't do anything special for it, and it'll take 7 days to get rid of it.
Joe? Got an APB here from San Diego. Boys down there really drew themselves a gem.
Yeah, can I take a look?
Yeah, here it is.
Wow. I can hear him moan all the way from here.
What is it?
Well, I had a jewel robbery at a hotel on the coast. 3 men took $135,000 in jewels and at least $15,000 in cash.
$150,000, huh? Any leads on them?
No, APB gives a description, list of the stolen jewelry. That's about all.
When did it happen?
It says 1:30 this morning.
Yeah, it's going to keep him busy for a while. Bet Mort's screaming like an eagle, Joe.
Why?
Well, I talked to him last week. Said he was going down to Mexico to do some fishing. Been saving days off for the last 3 months. Won't get to go now.
Yeah, I get it. Robbery, Friday. Yeah, go ahead. San Diego.
Huh?
Yeah, hi, Mort. Yeah, we got the APB. How's it going? Yeah. Uh-huh. When do you figure they left? Yeah. Okay, Mort, yeah. All right, we'll keep an eye open. Right. Bye.
What's he got?
Well, Davis, Walk, and Hewen are coming up.
They're driving?
Yeah, they figure the hold-up men are heading this way. The early editions of the afternoon papers came out, and they carried the complete story. 3 men had entered the Carlton Surf Hotel at 1:30 a.m. All 3 were armed, and they forced the manager to open the safe. Inside the vault were the jewels and the other valuables that had been deposited with the management for safekeeping by the guests. After looting the safe, the 3 men had robbed 5 of the guests who had entered the lobby during the time that they'd been going through the safe. After taking all the money and valuables they could find, the 3 men forced the manager and the guests into a back storeroom of the hotel, and they locked them in. None of the victims could tell the San Diego officers what kind of a car had been used, but all of them were able to give good descriptions of the 3 men. The San Diego Police Department had been called, and the men from the Detective Bureau had begun an immediate investigation. From the phone conversation I'd had with Lieutenant Mort Gear, they had evidence to believe that the 3 men were heading up for Los Angeles. While the 3 detectives from the San Diego Department came to L.A., Lieutenant Gear, Sergeant Tony McGuire would continue the investigation down in their city. 11:12 p.m. Sergeants Carl Davis, Jerry Walk, and Pappy Hewen arrived at the city hall. They filled us in on what had happened.
The way the thing looked, it figured that someone who had either worked for the hotel or was working for it had engineered it.
How'd that check out?
The identification we got?
Yeah.
Virgil Russell worked for the hotel a year ago as a busboy in the dining room. All the victims gave a positive identification on him.
How about the other 2, Carl?
Nothing on him yet.
What made you figure they might be coming up here?
Well, Russell's got a record, checked his package, and found that he has a sister in San Diego. Checked her, and she gave us the lead.
Yeah.
Said her brother and 2 men came by the house early this morning. Her brother's been staying with her the past few weeks. Anyway, he came by this morning, packed his clothes, said he had to come up to L.A. on business.
Well, she have an address up here for him, Carl?
Not good. Said he told her he'd get in touch with her. He was staying with a friend in a place out on Olympic Boulevard.
Anything on that address?
Yeah, our package gave an address out there. Russell had listed a friend of his when he was arrested. We figured he might be out there. Got a good description of the car. One thing is going to help.
Yeah.
Sister told us that she asked her brother about the other 2 men. Wanted to know if they didn't want to come to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Russell said no, they were waiting for him. If the 3 of them were in a hurry, she couldn't give us a description of the other 2.
Well, what time this happened?
About 5:30 this morning.
Well, they came right up here. They'd get in about 8 then, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You're pretty sure that these are the right ones now?
Looks like that. Identification of the mugs. Russell's sister told us when he was packing, a brooch fell out of his grip. She picked it up for him.
Give a description of it?
Yeah, matches one that was taken from the hotel in the theft. Large diamond with 4 rubies in the setting. Looked real good for the job.
Did you get a broadcast out on the car?
Yeah, Russell's sister told us it's a 53 Nash, red and black Continental hookup. She said Russell just got back from a trip through Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico. Said that he had the rear window covered with those stickers. You know, the ones they get from gas stations.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Window's supposed to be covered with them. Shouldn't be hard to spot.
Well, maybe he figures that, too. Might have them taken off, huh?
Possible. It's a lead, though. Something else to look out for.
Any chance he might have gotten across the border into Mexico?
Yeah, it's possible, but it isn't likely. As soon as we got word on the car, we got out a supplemental APB on it and got in touch with the authorities down the border. They said they hadn't seen a car that matched the description across the border.
Well, if they'd gotten to the border, the officers down there'd know about it anyway.
Yeah, I talked to Al Gayton from our office. He said they'd be on the lookout for him.
Our pawn shop detail got right on it, Carl. They got the description of the jewelry out all over town. We haven't had any reports on it yet, though.
They aren't going to try to sell it piece by piece. There's too many of those pieces are easy to recognize.
Yeah.
They'll probably try to peddle through a fence and have it broken up.
Well, we'll get the word out to our informants. Ask them to watch out for it.
Yeah. Heist that big can't be kept quiet for long. Bound to be rumbles on it someplace.
I'd like to check out the place on Olympic. It looks like it's the best lead we got.
Okay. We're walking here. You know.
Went down the hall with Murphy. Wanted to check some things at R&I.
Well, might as well get on out to Olympic, huh? You got the address?
Yeah, you better check the place first. Could be rough.
What do you mean?
Well, all 3 of them are armed. Russell served time twice before at the joint.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to want to go back.
We checked the name of Russell's friend through our files. We found that he had no record. We drove out to the address on Olympic and we talked with the neighbors. From them, we found out that it was not a private residence. We talked to the woman who lived next door. We asked her about the man listed in the San Diego package as a friend of the suspects. She told us she hadn't seen him. Directly in front of the rooming house, we found a car answering the description given us by the sister. There were no lights on in the rooming house. Walk and Hewen covered the rear of the place. Frank, Carl Davis, and I went up to the front door.
Pretty dark. I can't see anybody in there. Can you?
No, I can't.
Check the window, see if I can spot anything.
Right, Carl.
Well, let's try the door.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Come on, open up.
Beat it. Nobody gets in here.
All right, Frank, let's hit it. All right, stand right where you are. Hold
I'm
it.
not doing anything. What are you doing breaking in
Get
here
your
like
hands out
this?
in front of you.
Sure.
I'll shake him, Joe. He's clean.
Everything okay?
Yeah, Carl.
I'll get walking you in.
Who else in the house?
Nobody but the landlady. She's upstairs. Her and her daughter. Nobody else here.
What's your name?
Pete Ellis.
Where's Russell?
I don't know any Russell.
All right, we'll look around. Come on. What's in there?
Dining room. There ain't nothing in there.
Open it up.
See? Nobody here.
Yeah. All right, we'll check the other rooms. Where's this door go?
Bedroom. Ain't nobody in there.
Open it up.
Joe, nobody in the kitchen. Check the back porch. Walk and Davis are upstairs.
All right, we'll try this one here. Come on, you open it up.
It's locked. It can't get in.
There's a key in the door over here. Let's see if it fits.
Virgil! Virgil! Get out! Virgil, it's the cops! Get out!
All right, get out of the way, you. Come on, let's hit it.
Get out!
On the bed, Joe.
I see. All right, come on, you out of that bed.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
There's a bottle of sleeping pills on the table here.
Yeah, an empty bottle of whiskey. I guess he's dead drunk.
Upstairs is clean, Joe. Russell, huh?
Yeah, he's drunk. I guess we're pretty lucky. Under his pillow there?
Yeah.
3 guns. With the suspects in custody, we searched the house. In the back bedroom, where we'd found Virgil Russell, we found a folder with all of the newspaper stories of the hotel robbery. In each instance, that portion of the story which referred to the thieves themselves was outlined in pencil, and there were small notations along the margins of the newspaper. A complete search of the house netted us nothing. There was no sign of the loot from the robbery, although each of the suspects had a large amount of money in their possession. We talked to the landlady, but she was unable to tell us anything about the suspects. She said that she had rented a room to Peter Ellis over a year before, and that the suspect had moved out after living in the house for only 2 months. She said that she hadn't seen them again since that night when they arrived at the house and asked for rooms. We called the office and arranged for a stakeout on the place, and we took the 2 suspects back to the office. We ran Peter Ellis through R&I, and we found that he had 1 previous conviction on a robbery charge. 2:15 a.m. We talked to Virgil Russell in the interrogation room.
All right. I ain't trying to con you into anything. I was in on the heist, I'll admit it, but I ain't going to be no fink. You ain't going to get any other names out of me.
You got the money we found on you from that hotel robbery, is that right?
I don't know where else it'd come from. I got no reason to con you about the hotel job. I pulled it. I ain't afraid to admit it. I'm just not turning think, that's all.
Maybe we can get it out of Ellis.
He won't tell you anything.
You're pretty sure about that. He admits he was in on the robbery.
Well, so what? We all had a deal. If any of us got caught, they wouldn't tell about the others.
You think Ellis and that other guy'd go that route, standing the arrest alone?
Sure. We had an agreement.
Oh, come on now. Tell us how much you got for the jewels. You can tell us that and not tell us who the other man is, can't you?
Yeah, I suppose so. Isn't any way you could tell if I told you how much we got?
How much?
7,000.
How much?
7,000.
Who set up the deal to sell the stuff? Your partner?
Yeah, he handled all that.
He fixed it for you to get $7,000 for all the jewelry?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you made a good deal, all right. 7,000 for $135,000 worth of jewelry.
Wasn't worth 135. That's just the papers, making it sound big.
No, Russell, you're wrong. That's what the stuff is worth.
Are you kidding?
You got that report, Frank?
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. That's maybe what they claim the stuff is worth. But you know how people are always jacking things up on the insurance companies. The stuff was worth, maybe $15,000, not a cent more.
Yeah, Joe, here it is.
This is the report you got from the insurance company, Carl.
That's it.
Would you like to read it yourself, Russell, or do you want me to read it to you?
Well, let me see.
Uh-huh.
What a lousy bum. Oh, no good. He's a thief, that's what he is. A thieving thief.
That's the kind of a guy you say you had to deal with, huh? Let you think he was doing you a big favor. Some deal, $7,000.
If we'd picked him up, he'd have screamed like an eagle.
He's your pal, all right.
What a no good thief. I can't believe it.
Who'd he sell the stuff to, do you know?
No, I don't, and that's the truth. I saw the guy, but I don't know who it was.
How'd the deal work?
Well, earlier tonight, we got together out in Westwood. He called the fellow who was going to handle the deal, told him to meet us there.
Who's he?
A Fink, a lousy Fink.
What's his name?
Payne, Al Payne.
I spell it. Last name.
P-A-Y-N-E.
You got a record?
No, I don't think so. I never heard him talk about it.
You give us a description?
Yeah. That stuff was really worth $135,000. He said it was a lot of talk, newspaper talk, he said. Oh, brother, what a laugh.
What's his Payne look like?
Oh, he's about 37, maybe 150, 60 pounds. Bald. A little bit of hair on the edge of his head.
I'll check the name through R&I, Joe.
Right. You want to bring the mugs back here?
Yeah. Russell?
Yeah?
That first name, is it Alfred or Albert?
I think it's Albert. He's some kind of a promoter. I don't know what he promotes. I think it's just a dodge, kind of a front.
I'll be right back, sir. All right. Let's go ahead with the story about the buy, huh?
All right. Well, where was I?
You said you went out to Westwood.
Oh, yeah. Well, we were supposed to meet out in a parking lot by the ice rink. Big place out there. Well, we met this guy, the fellow Payne called it. He looked at the stuff, said it was worth maybe $15,000 the way it was. But he said it had to be broken down before it could be sold. And it wouldn't bring that much when it was all broken down.
What'd Al say to that?
Well, he agreed to it, said it was true. He went right along with it. Lousy deal. He was probably in on the whole thing.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I just can't get over it. We had all that stuff and didn't know what it was worth.
You got any idea who this guy is?
No, I told you I didn't know.
You said this Payne had an office here in town. You know where it is?
Yeah, I can show you. We were up there this afternoon while I was setting up the deal. It's in a building over on 6th.
You'd be willing to go over there with us?
So you can nail him?
That's right. We want to get the jewels back.
Sure, I'll go. So what that bum did to me, nothing too bad for him.
How are you going to work it, Joe?
Well, Russell here will have to introduce me as somebody who wants to buy this stuff. He'll have to tell Payne that I'm willing to pay, say, $50,000 for the jewelry. That way, Payne will have to get in touch with the other man. I don't think he'll pass up a deal like that.
Maybe he figures to make more than that this way.
Yeah, but suppose he thinks that Russell here wants to do business with me. He'll get the stuff back. I don't think he'll want to cross Russell.
Might work.
No, we haven't got much choice. We got to get the stuff back before it's broken up.
Hey, Joe, I got some pictures here. None of them match the description.
What was that?
None of them match the description.
Oh. You want to look at these?
Yeah.
Joe's going to go see this Payne with Russell and Ellis, try to get a lead on where the stuff is.
How are you going to work it?
Well, I'll tell Payne I'm interested in buying the jewels, offer him maybe $50,000.
Picture's not here. None of these is Payne.
You go along with this plan, Russell?
Sure. I'd like to see you get him and get him good.
It's pretty risky.
It doesn't look like there's any other way.
Suppose not. Russell?
Yeah?
We know Payne carries a gun. I'm going to tell you something. I want you to remember it.
All right.
You get any bright ideas about tipping Payne off about Joe, remember, we'll have men all through the building.
All right.
We're not going to start any shooting.
Yeah.
But we'll finish it.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Chesterfield is best for you. Just listen to the record.
For a full year and 2 months, a doctor has been making regular examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers, and he reports no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfields.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. First with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield. First choice with Young America. And that's from a survey of 274 colleges and universities. Try Chesterfields today. Remember, Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
The two suspects, Peter Ellis and Virgil Russell, were taken to the main jail and booked in for violation of Section 211 of the California Penal Code. After that, the officers from San Diego, Frank and I, discussed the plan for finding the stolen jewels. It was agreed that I would go into the office building with the suspect, Virgil Russell. To lessen the chances of discovery, I would carry no gun or any police identification. We were unable to make contact that night, so the following morning, we checked over the physical layout of the building. It was 6 stories high and had one elevator. There were 2 entrances to the building, one in the front and one that opened off an alley in the rear. Officers were planted at both entrances. Additional men were stationed on each floor. 2 men were on the roof to cut off any possible escape to one of the adjoining buildings. 11:30 a.m. Tuesday, October 6th. Russell called Payne and said that he wanted to see him. Payne told him to come right over to the office. Russell and I got into a car and we drove over. It had been arranged that from the time we entered the building, no one would be permitted to leave until we returned to the main entrance. 11:58 a.m. We got to the office building. We went up to the 4th floor. The sign on Payne's door read, Albert Payne, Investments. Russell opened the door and we walked in.
Hi, Verge. What's the bit?
Al, like you to meet Joe Ferguson.
Joe, glad to meet you.
Yeah, same here, Al.
Well, sit down, boys. Now, what's this all about?
It's about the stuff, Al. We got to get it back.
Now, what's the pitch? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, come off it, Payne. Joe here's willing to up the ante for the jewels.
How much?
I'll go as high as $50,000. I got to see it first.
For $15,000 worth of jewels?
Papers say it's worth $135.
I explained that to you. They up the value. It's all insured. People up the price of the insurance companies. Papers up the price. They sell more papers. I told you.
Yeah, and I ain't buying it. I want the stuff back. I never even got my cut of the $7,000. Ellis feels the same way.
I told you the money'd be coming.
Well, it ain't coming anymore. I want the stuff back.
I don't think we can do that. Most of it's already broken up.
No, not much of it could be broken up in the time that he's had it.
Guy that bought it isn't going to like it.
Well, that's tough. You just tell him to stop breaking it up. Tell him we want it back.
Where do you figure to sell the jewels?
I don't see where that concerns you. I'm offering you $50,000 for them. That's all you need to know.
Come on, Al. Come on. Quit playing games. Let's get on it. You get in touch with the guy you gave them to and get the jewels back.
Wait a minute. I got something to say about this. I was in on the job with you. Don't you forget it.
I'm only going to say this once more, Payne. You get on that phone and get in touch with your contact. Tell him to stop breaking them up. You set up a meet to get the stuff back.
I'll call him. I don't think it's going to do any good. He's probably got all the mountings melted down by this time. Got it all broken up.
You call him. Let's see what happens.
All right. Now, let me talk to Fred. Fred, this is Al. Yeah. Listen, something's come up. We can't go through with the deal. What? Yeah, I know. I told him. Doesn't make any difference. They want it all back. Yeah, I told him that, too. Doesn't make any difference. You want the jewels back that have been broken down, too?
I told you, Al. I want all of it back.
Yeah. Yeah, Fred, he says all of it. Okay. And when can you make it? Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll see you then, right. Okay, bye. They'll have the stuff for you tomorrow night.
Why does he have to wait that long?
How do I know? He just said he couldn't get it to you any sooner.
You should have let me talk to him. I'd have told him.
Yeah, sure.
How much of it's been broken up?
Well, hardly any. Just got started. Fred says it's almost all whole.
Who is this Fred?
That's none of your business.
I asked you a question, Al.
You got your answer. Doesn't make any difference who he is. You and your friends loused up the deal. Be happy. You fixed it fine.
Well, I'll come out better.
Yeah, you better be right. Now, remember, I got a piece of this.
I won't forget. What time tomorrow are we going to meet Fred?
Well, he said he'd call. Let me know where and when.
Well, I can't be any later than tomorrow. I got to be leaving then.
You're going to have the money with you when you pick up the stuff.
I'll have it.
All of it. I don't want any of this down payment.
I told you I'd have.
All right, you call me tomorrow about 10, Verge. I'll let you know the details then.
Okay.
I hope you're right about this, Verge.
What do you mean?
Well, this deal, I don't like it. I hope nothing happens to louse it up.
Yeah, so do I. Virgil, Russell, and I left the office and went downstairs. We checked with Frank, Carl Davis, and the other officers from San Diego. Al Payne was taken into custody and booked in at the main jail on suspicion of violation of Section 211 PC. Then we returned to the office.
You find out who has the stuff?
Yeah, a fellow named Fred.
You know who he is?
No, not yet, but we will.
How'd you figure that? Payne didn't tell you.
Well, I saw the number he dialed when he called Fred. It was a Hollywood prefix. That narrows down the area. I can try the number and see who answers. Oh, I'm sorry. I got the wrong number. Excuse me.
So you get it?
Yeah. It's the Kingery Trophy Company. You want to check the book?
Right. K-I, King, Kincaid. Here's Joe. Kingery Trophy Company. It's on Las Palmas.
Trophy Company. That'd give him a chance to melt the mountings down to metal, wouldn't it? Be easier to get rid of it that way.
Makes sense. What do you figure to move in on?
Right now. We can drive out and check the place now, look it over, then we'll go in and get them.
What happens with me?
We got to take you back to main jail.
After the help I gave
That's
you?
the way it's got to be. You knew that going in.
Yeah, I suppose so. Well, you tell the DA I helped, though, huh?
Yeah, we'll see he knows about it.
Sure a bad deal all the way around. Real bad deal. I should have known I couldn't win. Right from the start, I should have known. Nobody can win.
Well, still a lot of people trying. We returned Virgil Russell to his cell, and then we drove out to the Kingery Trophy Company. It was a two-story building on Las Palmas Avenue in Hollywood. They made trophies and fraternity pins. A large sign on the front of the building advertised that they could duplicate anything in metal. We checked with the neighborhood merchants and found that there was a permanent staff of 4 employees. The company was owned by a Roger Kingery, and none of the neighborhood people could tell us anything about an employee by the name of Fred. 5 p.m. The employees of the plant left the building. 1 man remained. From the description we'd gotten from Russell, we figured that he was the person Payne had called Fred. 6:03 p.m. The lights in the rear of the factory went on, and through the windows we could see the suspect working over a small furnace. On a table off to one side, we could see a quantity of jewelry. Frank, Carl, and I went to the side door of the plant while the other officers covered the remaining doors. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Carl?
Yeah.
I'll hit the door and grab him before he's got the chance to throw the jewelry into the furnace.
Right.
Grab him, Carl. He's making a break for it.
I got it.
Hey, what are you guys doing breaking in here like this?
Look at that, Joe. Jewelry matches the description of the stolen stuff.
Yeah, looks like it.
All right, mister, stand still.
I'll shake him. He's clean.
I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know what this is all about.
All right, save it. What's this jewelry doing here?
That isn't mine.
I didn't ask you whose it was. I asked you what it was doing here.
Fellas say give me $2,500 if I break it down for him.
What's the fellow's name?
Guy named Payne said he'd pay me to melt it down for him.
You know the stuff was stolen?
No, I didn't. He just made the deal to melt it down.
Didn't he call you this afternoon and tell you to stop breaking it up?
Yeah, and then he called back and told me not to pay attention to what he said. Go ahead with the job. I did like he said.
Who else is in this with you?
What do you mean?
Who else here at the factory?
Nobody. I'm the only one. I only did it because I needed the money. I didn't know where the jewels came from. I didn't care. It didn't make no difference to me. As long as I got mine, I was happy. I didn't know what it was all about.
Looks like most of it's here, Joe.
How many pieces did you break down?
Took a couple of the pins apart. Didn't have the time to melt any of the mounting down. It's all there. All the Payne gave me.
What's your name?
Fred Michelson.
All right, let's go.
I didn't know they were stolen. I didn't know anything about it. I just did a job. That's all. Just a job.
Yeah.
I didn't even get paid for it.
Don't worry about it. You will.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On February 18th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of San Diego. In a moment, the results of that trial.
And now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. I want to thank all of you for your interest in Dragnet. Thanks very much for your letters. We really appreciate them, and we'll try to keep right on giving you the kind of a show that you like. I want to thank all of you, too, who have switched to Chesterfield. I know you're going to like them, and I know you'll find they're best for you. Now, you folks who haven't tried Chesterfields, I'd like you to pick up a carton tomorrow. Chesterfield. It's a great smoke.
Virgil Nathan Russell, Peter Howard Ellis, and Albert Franklin Payne were tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree. They received sentence as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of from 5 years to life. Fred George Michelson was tried and found guilty of receiving stolen property. He received sentence as prescribed by law. Receiving stolen property is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not more than 10 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Jack Allen, Los Angeles Police Department.
Thank you. On behalf of the Detroit Police Officers Association, I'd like to present this award to Dragnet. I wonder if you'd read it, Mr. Fenneman.
Yes, sir. Whereas the radio and television show Dragnet and its writers, producers, and actors most accurately portray the American police officers and their work. And whereas the result of this portrayal has been to give the people of this country a new insight into their police departments, bringing with it understanding, sympathy, and an aroused public opinion. And whereas Dragnet brings credit to the men and women of the police forces throughout America, therefore we, the Detroit Police Officers Association, representing the patrolmen, detectives, and policewomen of Detroit, hereby cite and commend the show Dragnet and its star Jack Webb, who plays the part of Detective Sergeant Friday, as the finest and most accurate police program both on television and radio. Signed this date, March 31st, 1953, in behalf of the association by Thomas Duffy, President, Bruce Finney, Vice President, Francis Klein, Secretary-Treasurer.
All of us on Dragnet want to thank the Detroit Police Officers Association, and our thanks to you, Lieutenant Allen.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Eddie Firestone, Art Gilmore. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfields. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Tonight, it's Adventure with Barry Craig on NBC.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a burglary detail. A wave of burglaries has broken out in your city. The thieves are fast. They're clever. Your job? Get them. Years ahead of them all. Chesterfield is years ahead of them all.
The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story.
Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands.
Yes, Chesterfield is first with premium quality in both regular and king size.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, December 10th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on the way out from the office, and it was 10:14 a.m. when we got to the Armstrong Schneider Jewelry Company, the manager's office.
Can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. Police officers, we'd like to see Mr. Armstrong.
Oh, yes. Just a minute. The police officers are here. Yes, sir, right away. Will you go right in, please?
Thank you very much.
Mr. Armstrong's office. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, but he's in a meeting.
Won't you come in?
Thank you very much. Thanks, sir. Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
My partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How do you do? Won't you sit down?
Thank you very much.
Would you like a cigarette?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks. I have a lighter. As you know, this firm is probably the foremost fine jewelry store on the coast.
Yes, sir. I wonder if you'd tell us about the theft.
Yes. Well, we discovered it this morning.
About what time was that?
Well, about 9:45. That's when we missed it. I guess the necklace was taken about 9. Must have been right after we opened.
Could you give us a description of the piece, sir?
Yes, I have it right here. Got it from the insurance records. Have a drawing of it. We always have that done on high-priced items.
Mm-hmm.
Here you are.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. What value do you place on the necklace?
It's insured for $8,000. The firm can't afford to take a loss like that.
Could you tell us exactly how it was taken?
Yes, I can. It was just after 9. We just opened the front doors of Shoppers Christmas, you know.
Yes, sir.
Well, this one couple came in, asked to see some of our more expensive necklaces. Henderson brought the tray out of the safe and showed the collection to the people.
Henderson?
Yes. He's the clerk who was waiting on the people.
Oh.
I gave him his notice. I had to. Looks to me like carelessness.
I wonder if we could talk to him.
Yes, all right.
Thank you.
Miss Courtney, would you have Henderson sent in here, please? Yes, right away. What?
No, tell him I'll call later. That's right. Have him leave the number and I'll call back. Right, yes. He'll be right in.
All right, thank you. How long has this Henderson been working here?
I'd have to check the employment records to be sure. Offhand, I think it's been about 5 years. Ever since we opened at this location. We used to have a store downtown, then we moved out here.
Mm-hmm. Where did he work before that?
Well, let me see. I think it was someplace up north. San Francisco, I believe. Yes, he worked in a store up there. Had excellent references. He's a good salesman.
But you gave him notice, huh?
Well, I felt it was the only thing to do. If he's getting careless, he has no business working in a store that deals with expensive merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Yes? Send him right in. What? No, please tell him to call later. No, I'm not into anyone. No one but Sharon. My wife.
Yes, sir.
Come in.
Do you want to see me, Mr. Armstrong?
Yes, come right in, Henderson. These are police officers, Mr. Friday and Mr. Smith. This is Charles Henderson.
How are you?
Hi.
How are you? They'd like to ask you some questions about the theft.
Yes, sir. Anything I can do to help?
Could you give us a description of the couple you waited on?
Yeah, I think so. The man was about 35, maybe 40.
About how tall was he?
Well, maybe 5'11". Might have been 6 feet. I'd say he weighed about 155 pounds, something like that.
Uh-huh. How about his coloring, his complexion?
It was light. Looked like he'd been out in the sun, though. His nose was all sunburned. I noticed it because you don't often see people with sunburns like that this time of the year. You know, December.
Mm-hmm. How was he dressed, do you remember?
Yeah, had a gray hat on, gray chalk-striped suit on, flannel blue shirt, maroon tie. Didn't see his shoes. He had on one of those new round collars, though. You know, rounded here on the collar point?
Mm-hmm. Was he clean-shaven?
No, he had a little mustache, one of those that looks like it's drawn on with an eyebrow pencil. Just a line, you know the kind.
Uh-huh. How about the woman? What'd she look like?
She's a small woman, not much more than 5'2", little, about 100 pounds. Real pretty. She had dark hair and blue eyes, very fair. I noticed it because I thought at the time that maybe she dyed her hair.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any marks or scars you saw?
No, I don't think so, no.
How was she dressed?
Well, she was a little too overdressed. Had a dress and a coat. Had a jewel clip here on her dress. She looked kind of flashy, cheap, you know.
Oh, I see. Anything about the way they talked and the accent, anything like that?
No, nothing I can remember.
Would you remember if either one of them wore glasses, maybe?
No. The man, though, he had a kind of funny way of talking.
What do you mean?
Well, he sounded sort of like one of those pitchmen on TV. You know, the kind that sells kitchen gadgets, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell us what happened, what they said when they came in, how they took the jewels?
Yes, they came in right after we opened, asked to see something in necklaces. Said they wanted to pay around $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought out the tray, but didn't find anything that they liked. And then I brought out the necklaces. Beautiful thing, $8,500. You know, Mr. Armstrong, the emerald-cut diamond with a small sapphire.
Yes, I know the one. Beautiful thing.
Excuse me, can I use that ashtray a minute?
Yeah.
Thank you. Wonder if you'd go on, please.
Oh, sure. Well, I brought out the other tray and showed them the necklaces in it. They both looked for a long time. Then the woman said that she didn't think there was anything there she wanted.
Mm-hmm. What was the matter? Didn't they care for our designs?
No, it wasn't that, sir. They just didn't see anything they liked. So they moved back to the other tray. Then the woman said she'd found what she wanted. A small piece, 3 diamonds and 4 small rubies.
Did they buy that?
No, they said they wanted to think about it. They made a big thing about asking me if I thought that it would be sold before they could make up their minds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I told them if they wanted to put a small deposit on it, we could hold it for them.
Yeah.
The man said he'd rather not do that. He said they'd know by this afternoon. At that time, there were several people in the store, Christmas shoppers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were looking at a display of bracelets we had on the counter. I went over to them to see if there was anything I could do. You know, tell them that I'd get someone to wait on them.
I understand.
It's a foolish thing to do, I know that.
I'm afraid it was.
Yeah, I know now. Well, when I got back, the couple was leaving. They told me they'd be in this afternoon and let me know. Walked out of the store, and I stopped to help a gentleman that came in. When I turned back to the trays, I noticed the necklace in the more expensive tray was gone.
Mm-hmm. Would you be able to give us positive identification of these people if you ever saw them again?
Yes, I'm sure I would.
Wonder if you can come downtown with us and look at some pictures, see if you can identify the thieves for us.
Of course, if Mr. Armstrong has no objection.
Not at all. You'd like me to come along, too?
I don't think that'll be necessary right now. If there's anything we need, we can get in touch with you here, can we?
Yes, right here at my home. I can give you that number.
All right, fine.
Okay. Here it is.
Thank you, sir. Well, thanks very much. You ready to go?
Yes, sir. I'll get my hat.
Just a minute, Henderson.
Yes, sir?
As soon as you get through down there, come on back. Your job's waiting for you.
All right, sir. I'd like to come back.
Anything I can do to help, just let me know.
All right, Mr. Armstrong.
Not at all.
I'll get my hat and meet you at the door.
Right. Have you notified the insurance company of the theft yet, Armstrong?
I have a call into them now. I'm expecting an agent from the firm any minute. Sure hope you can recover it.
Yeah, sure. We'll do the best we can.
An $8,000 necklace. How do you think they'll go about disposing of it? Break it up?
Well, either that or leave it in one piece.
That'll make it kind of hard to unload, won't it? $8,000?
Not at their price. "10:37 a.m. We talked to the other people in the store. From them, we got verifying descriptions of the two thieves. 11:32 a.m. Frank and I took the clerk, Charles Henderson, down to the city hall and had him go through the mug books. We got out a local and an APB on the pair of thieves, and a description of the stolen necklace was prepared for the Daily Bulletin. The insurance company that underwrote the necklace got in touch with us and said that they were getting out printed circulars to jewelers throughout the country. The victim was unable to make an identification from the mug books. We had the M.O. of the theft run through the staff's office, but when the possibles were checked out, we had no new leads. Further interrogation of the owners and employees of the stores in the immediate vicinity of Armstrong and Schneider failed to turn up anything new. The theft was not a new one. For the past 6 weeks, there'd been a series of burglaries taking place out on Wilshire Boulevard. Most of them had been exclusive women's stores or jewelry shops. To date, all of them had been articles of small individual value, none that approached the value of the necklace taken from Armstrong and Schneider. In an attempt to apprehend the thieves, all of the usual avenues of sale of stolen goods had been checked. None of the precautions apparently did any good. The theft continued. Another 2 weeks passed. In that time, the thieves hit 3 times, all in the same general area. The employees of the victimized stores were questioned. From the information we got from them, we could be certain that the suspects were the same ones we were after. On Tuesday, December 29th, Frank and I got back from checking a lead.
Well, there's another one that went no place.
Yeah. You want to check the book?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Anything there?
Yeah, there's a call here from Alex Olson.
Olson?
Yeah. Got a Dunkirk number. You know Olson?
No, that name doesn't mean anything to me. Say what it's about?
No, so just call him. Says it's important.
All right. Give me the number, huh?
Yeah. Here you go.
What is this, 190? Is that a 9?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a 9.
You don't make 9s very good.
Loafy, can't write.
Could I speak to Alex? Oh, Alex Olson. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. The hotel.
Yeah.
Hello. This Olson? Yeah. This is Friday. Police department. You want me to call you? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure, I remember, uh-huh. Yeah, sure. We'd like to talk to you. Yeah. No, we'll come over there. That's right. You want to give me the address? Just a minute. Yeah. Okay. Right. Bye. Olson, he works for that carnival. You remember we talked to him last year? Says he wants to see us about some burglaries now.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Says he's in with the thieves. "11:26 a.m. We drove out to the address Olson had given me on the phone. We talked to the desk clerk at the hotel. He said that Olson had just moved in and that during the time he'd been there, Olson hadn't talked much to any of the other people in the place. The clerk gave us his room number, and Frank and I went up to talk to him.
Oh, where is it?
Joe Friday.
Just a minute.
All right, come on in.
Thanks.
All right.
Olson, this is my partner, Frank Smith.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I remember you. Sit down.
Thanks.
You want a drink?
No, thanks.
Oh, I gotta have one.
What was it you want to talk to us about, Olson? Olson? What was it you wanted to talk to us about?
Oh man. What a hangover. I really get him.
Yeah, well, let's get to the point, shall we? What's on your mind?
Oh, I'll tell you. I don't know why I drink so much. I feel terrible the next day. I always drink too much.
All right, now look, Olson, maybe you got a lot of time. We haven't. We didn't come over here to sit and watch you drink. Now get to the point. You said on the phone that you were in with a gang of thieves we're looking for. Now, what about it?
What I told you on the phone is true. It's all true. I'm glad to tell you. Get it over. Get it all out in the open. That's what I need to do. Get it all out in the open.
You had any breakfast yet?
No, I just got up before I called you.
Is there any place around here you can get something to eat?
Don't make no difference around here. Nobody knows me. I think there's a place down the street right next to the hotel. But what's all this about food?
I think you'll feel better if you have something to eat, won't you?
No, wait a minute.
You've had enough of that. Put it down.
I don't want no food.
All right, we do. Let's go.
You guys are getting a little bossy, aren't you?
We want to hear what you got to say. You keep hitting that bottle, neither one of us is going to make it.
Come on, fella. We'll buy you some breakfast.
You got a coat? It's cold out.
Oh, yeah. Sure glad you guys came. I'm glad to get this off my
Wait a
chest.
minute. Those dresses in there. Woman's clothes. Those belong to you?
Oh, no. I'm just keeping them for a friend.
Well, labels on some of them here. Come from out on Wilshire, don't they?
You get a gold star. I'll tell you about them. That's part of the deal.
You want to tell us now?
Oh, look, you made a deal about some coffee. Maybe it'll help me find my hands. Are you going to back out now?
All right, let's go. We'll come back.
Sure, you can come back. Take all the time you want to. Look the dresses over. I got some other stuff you'll want to see, too. But come on, let's go. Let's walk down now. Let's not take the elevator. It's too noisy. Murder.
All right.
What's this other stuff you wanted to show us, Olson?
The jewelry. I got some of it in the dressers. Cheap stuff. Nothing worth anything. Cheap.
Where'd you get the clothes and jewelry?
Oh, Red asked me to keep him for him.
Who?
Well, he's the guy you want. He's the one that's engineering the theft. He's the one. The real crumb. Big man. He's the one you want. I'd like to see you get him.
How many other people working with him?
3 others.
You know who they are?
Sure. I know the whole story, start to finish. I know the whole thing. I'll tell you. I'll tell you all about it. Let's go out the side way.
All right. Now, where's this coffee shop?
Oh, wait a minute. You sure you wouldn't like a belt?
No, and neither do you. Now, let's go.
Okay, you're calling it. Restaurant's right down here. Just a couple of doors.
You know where this Red is?
Yeah, I'll tell you. He's the one you want.
How about the woman who works with him?
Oh, that's May. Red's not the guy who goes into the stores, though. A fellow that works that part of the operation is his brother-in-law, a guy named Hank.
What was her name?
May.
Was May. Is she the woman in the team?
Yeah. Red wouldn't trust anybody else. Not him. He's a big man, you know. You don't believe it, you just ask Red. He'll tell you. Big man, big bum.
This the place?
Yeah. You positive? No, I guess you wouldn't.
Booth in the back, all right?
Yeah. Hey, Joe, it doesn't look like they got service in the booth. What do you want, Olson?
Well, it ain't what I want, but I'll settle for a cup of coffee.
Joe?
Yeah, that's right, Finley.
I'll get it and bring it back.
Come on, Olson, let's go there. Sit down. All right, now suppose you start right at the beginning and tell me about it, huh? Who's Red? How do they work the operation? Where can we find them? Tell us everything.
All right. Well, first off, Red's real name is Keith Jameson. They call him Red because he's got red hair, it figures.
Yeah. What's he do for a living?
He works for Carney. Most of the year we're on the road. This is the off-season, so he's laying up in a trailer camp out in the valley. He doesn't do anything regular. Huh? He steals.
Is he one of the owners of this carnival?
No, he runs a pitch game. You know, rings and the pegs. If you play real good, you can win a quarters worth of slum for $5.
Mm-hmm. How about his wife? She travel with the show?
Yeah, she travels. It ain't a regular show, not Red's part. He's just got a concession. You know, he goes with the show like a leech. He's been thrown out of a dozen Carneys for crooked stuff. His brother-in-law's a dip when we're on the road. Picks pockets in the crowd around Red's place. He's gotten us all in a lot of trouble. No Carney in the country will have us around anymore. Don't take him long to get wise to us.
Mm-hmm. He's the one that's in on the burglaries with Red and his wife. Is that it?
That's right. He lists the stuff.
How about his wife? Where's she fit in?
Well, she's the distraction. You know, the one that comes up and asks questions, pulls the clerk away so Hank can lift the stuff. In case there's any trouble, Hank acts as lumber, too.
What do you mean, lumber?
Well, you know, muscle. He takes care of the guys that beef.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what do you have with that, huh, Frank?
Yeah, here. Look at my thumb. That's splashed on it. Think it's blistered?
No, it's good hot coffee in there. They are open.
Oh, thanks. Come on, pass the sugar, will you?
Yeah, here you are. Where do you fit into this, Olson?
No place, really. I'm just along for the ride. I think Red figures sometime the axe is going to fall and he wants my head under it. I usually hold on to the stolen stuff until Red finds a buyer.
Does he use a fence?
No, he pushes the stuff himself. He usually works on a tip. You know, if somebody wants to buy a piece of merchandise, Red meets him, sets up a deal.
Uh-huh. You willing to cooperate with us all along the line on this thing?
Sure, I'll go along with you.
You know where the necklace is that they lifted a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, Red's got it. He's looking for a buyer now.
You think you can set up a meet for us?
Yeah, if you thought you wanted to buy the piece, it could be done.
Can you set up the meet?
Sure. I want to see you get him.
Tell me something. How are you going to come out on this if we pick up Red and the others? What do you want out of it?
I got my reasons. I got good reasons.
You want to tell us what they are?
Sure, I got no reason not to. Give me the sugar again.
Yeah.
You see, Red figures he's going to make a sideshow character out of me next season. I'm not going to go that route.
Yeah? What do you mean?
Oh, you know, the wild man from Borneo sit in a pit all day and yell at the customers. Pitch like that always draws a big crowd. Red figures it'll be good for picking pockets.
Yeah.
You ought to know by now Red's out of his mind.
Yeah?
Wild man from Borneo. Even the leopard skin won't help. Look at me. I only weigh 105 pounds.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action. Chesterfield is best for you. Listen to Chesterfield's record. For a full year and 2 months, a doctor has been making regular examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers, and he reports no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. First with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield. First choice with Young America. And that's from a survey of 274 colleges and universities. Try Chesterfield today. Remember, Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
2:24 p.m. We continued to talk to Alex Olson. He told us what he knew of the operation of the thieves. We went back to his room and searched it thoroughly. We found several pieces of cheap costume jewelry and several of the stolen dresses. Most of the other things in his room were worthless. As far as we knew, had not been stolen. We took him down to the city hall and had him checked through R&I. He had an arrest record showing several arrests for being drunk in a public place. We checked the name Keith Red Jameson through the files. There was no record on him. There was no record in the moniker file either. Jameson's brother-in-law and the two women were also checked out, but we found no previous criminal record for either of them. Communications were gotten off to Washington to check the possibility that the suspects might have records in other states. 4:40 p.m. We met in Captain Wisdom's office. Olson told us that he'd arrange a meeting for us with Red. While we listened on an extension phone, he called the suspect, told him that he had a buyer for the necklace. A meet was set up for the following morning at the entrance to Alvera Street. Red said that he'd have the necklace with him at the time. 5:37 p.m. Frank, Olson, and I drove out to the trailer camp in the valley. We checked the trailer that Red lived in and also the one his brother-in-law had. We got a good look at the car Red would drive to the meet, and then we arranged for a stakeout on the trailer park. 8:23 p.m. The three of us drove back down to the city hall.
You ain't going to try and take him at the meet, are you?
We hadn't got around to that yet. Why?
Well, you do, and it's going to point straight at me. You ain't going to put him away forever, you know. He's going to get out, and he's going to draw a straight line to me. I don't want that. I got to be protected.
We'll take care of you. Don't worry about it.
Oh, big deal. You take care of me. Well, how? That's what I want to know. How you going to do it?
We'll get him before he gets to the meet.
Here you go in here.
Look, tell me, how you going to work it?
We'll come up with a way.
You ain't going to get near him in plain clothes. I'll tell you that right now. He'll spot you a mile away. Comes to cops, he's got eyes in the back of his head. You can't get anywhere near him in those clothes.
Don't worry, we won't. He'll be picked up for something else. We'll find the necklace on him if he's got it, and you'll never know that's what we're after.
Well, how you going to work it? How?
We'll be in uniform in a traffic car coming in from the valley. That might work, huh, Frank?
Yeah, I think so.
Bound to make a mistake. When he does, we'll be there.
Yeah, that'd do it. That, never.
Yeah, it ought to work.
Yeah, that'll work good. Yeah. You guys wouldn't like
No,
to
we wouldn't. No booze.
Okay. I just noticed the bar across the street. I thought maybe you guys would like to stop there. I'd feel a little better about this if I had a drink. Just a little one. Come on now, Bart. Huh?
Sorry, Alex. We got to take you over to the main jail.
You got a what?
For the time being, we got to hold you.
Well, now, wait. It ain't the jail that bothers me, not being in jail. It's just that I hear it's pretty rough to get a drink over at the Gray Bar Hotel. You know, that's the only thing that bothers me. There's no room service there.
Yeah, well, it'll all work out for you.
Well, I don't know. Since I got mixed up in this thing, seems like I got no choice in anything. It don't seem fair. I got no choice.
DA's office will know what you did. It'll be marked down that way.
Oh, I got no beef with you guys. You better take it easy with Red, though.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's got a gun.
The following morning at 4:30 a.m., Frank and I were dressed in the uniform of traffic officers. We were parked 2 blocks from the trailer park in a traffic car. The meet with Red was scheduled for 9 a.m. The officers on stakeout at the trailer park told us that they'd seen no activity in Red's trailer the night before. From where we were parked, we could keep his car under constant surveillance. At 7:45 a.m., we saw the suspect and his wife come out of the trailer and get into the car. We followed them over to Ventura Boulevard, and from there down Coinga Pass. We kept far enough behind them so that they'd have less chance of knowing that they were being followed. They turned by the freeway construction point and continued on down Coinga Boulevard. When they got to the corner of Yucca and Coinga, they made a mistake. They turned left from the wrong lane of traffic. Well, that's it. You want to hit the siren? Yeah. I got the light.
He's going straight down Yucca, Joe.
Yeah. Pull up behind him, huh?
Right.
Okay, he sees us. He's pulling over.
I'll cover the other side.
Watch yourself.
Right.
What's wrong, officer? I didn't do anything.
See your operator's license, please?
Sure, it's in my pocket. I'll get it.
You want to get out of the car, please?
Well, I don't have to get out to show you my driver's
I'd like to have you get out of the car.
Don't argue with him, Red. Do what he says.
What's all this about, anyway? What do you stop me for?
You made an illegal left turn back there at Coinga.
Illegal? Oh, you got the wrong guy. See that guy in front of me? He jumped the light something awful. He's the guy you ought to be after. He's the one, not me.
All right, move over to the car.
What?
Over by the car. Now put your hands up there. No, against the car.
I don't know what you mean.
Now come off it, Jameson. You know what we meet. All right, Jameson, on your feet.
What are you doing? You got no right to beat him up like that. Big thing for making a left turn. What are you guys trying to prove? Just wait until the papers get this. We got friends, you know.
All right,
big
lady,
friends.
take it easy.
I won't take it easy. Man, makes a mistake, and you cops act like you were the judges. You got no right to treat a citizen like that.
Here, Frank, you want to hold it?
Yeah. 38 Colts. You play rough, don't you, Red?
Shut up.
What's this, Red?
You leave that alone. That's mine. Doesn't concern you.
Necklace, Joe?
Yeah.
So it's a necklace. What's that prove? You got nothing on us. Write out the ticket for the left turn and let us go. That's all you got.
Got a permit for this gun?
No.
This necklace is stolen. You know that, don't you?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to say anything till I see a lawyer. Nothing.
I knew this would happen. Always knew it about you. You're yellow. Willing to take a chance as long as you ain't going to be nailed. Let something go wrong and right away you start screaming for a lawyer. Poor excuse for a man. You took a chance and you lost. Well, don't be a coward about it. You got no excuse. None in the world. You got no excuse at all.
Well, that makes you even, lady.
Huh?
Neither of you.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent. On April 15th, trial was held in Department 87, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. I sure hope you were listening real close to what George Fenneman had to say tonight, because it proves what I always tell you. You can't beat the premium quality you get in Chesterfield, regular or king size. I'd like you to try Chesterfield. They're much milder, and they have a wonderful taste.
Henry Donald Swenson, Anna Catherine Swenson, and May Ruth Jameson were tried and convicted of 5 counts of burglary in the second degree. They received sentence as prescribed by law. Burglary in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1 nor more than 15 years. Keith Walter Jameson was tried and convicted for receiving stolen property on 5 counts and received sentence as prescribed by law. Receiving stolen property is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period not to exceed 10 years. Because of his cooperation, Alex Robert Olson received a lighter sentence and was placed on probation. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Stacey Harris, script by John Robinson, music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis Show, Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfield much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett and Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Tonight, it's Adventure with Barry Craig on NBC.